Archangel Michael says there are certain moments in life when everything asks you to slow down for a second and truly listen. Not with fear, not with pressure, but with awareness. Life moves quickly, responsibilities fill our days, and sometimes we scroll past important thoughts without giving them the time they deserve. Yet every once in a while a moment appears that invites you to pause, breathe, and reflect on where you are going and what truly matters in your life. This message is one of those moments. It is not here to frighten you or rush you, but to remind you that awareness can change the way you see everything around you. Archangel Michael says many people spend years believing they are alone in their struggles, carrying worries about the future, finances, relationships, or purpose. They wake up each day trying to do their best, yet sometimes they still feel uncertain about whether their efforts are truly leading somewhere meaningful. These feelings are part of the human journey. Every person experiences periods where they question their direction or wonder if they are doing enough. But those questions are not signs of failure, they are signs that your mind is searching for growth and clarity. Sometimes the greatest turning points in life begin with a simple realization. A moment when you suddenly understand something about your life that you had not seen clearly before. It might be a realization about your habits, your goals, the people around you, or the way you treat yourself. When that realization arrives, it can quietly transform the direction of your future. Not because everything changes instantly, but because your perspective changes, and that new perspective influences every decision you make from that point forward. Archangel Michael says awareness is one of the most powerful gifts a person can develop. When you become aware of your thoughts, your choices, and your priorities, you gain the ability to shape your future more intentionally. Many people live on autopilot, repeating the same routines every day without questioning whether those routines truly support their goals. But the moment you begin to reflect and ask yourself what you truly want to build in your life, you begin to step into a more conscious and purposeful path. Think about your journey so far. There were times when you felt uncertain or overwhelmed, yet you continued moving forward. Those moments revealed something important about your character. They showed that even when things were not easy, you still had the strength to keep going. That strength is part of who you are now. Every challenge you overcame added another layer of resilience and wisdom to your life. Archangel Michael says growth rarely appears as a sudden miracle. Instead, it develops through small decisions repeated over time. Choosing to learn something new, choosing to improve your habits, choosing to believe that progress is possible even when results are slow. These choices may seem small in the moment, but together they create momentum that gradually transforms your life. You may also notice that certain ideas or dreams have stayed with you for a long time. Perhaps there is something you have always wanted to explore or achieve but have not yet taken the first step toward it. Sometimes those ideas remain in your heart because they represent a part of your potential that is still waiting to grow. When you give yourself permission to explore those ideas, you open the door to opportunities you might never have imagined before. Archangel Michael says the future is not something that suddenly arrives one day. It is something you build through the decisions you make today. Every thought you nurture, every action you take, and every lesson you learn contributes to shaping the path ahead of you. The more aware you become of your own values and goals, the easier it becomes to choose actions that align with the life you want to create. It is also important to remember that everyone's journey moves at its own pace. Some people discover their direction quickly while others take more time to understand their path. There is no single timeline that defines success or fulfillment. What matters most is that you continue learning, growing, and remaining open to the possibilities that appear along the way. Archangel Michael says moments like this are reminders that awareness can change everything. When you allow yourself to pause and truly listen to your thoughts, you begin to understand your life more clearly. You see where you have been, where you are now, and where you have the ability to go next. That understanding becomes the foundation for meaningful progress. Your story is still unfolding, and every day offers another opportunity to move forward with greater clarity and purpose. Continue listening to your experiences, continue learning from every stage of your journey, and continue believing that growth is always possible. Archangel Michael says as you continue listening, it is important to understand that life often brings moments where you are invited to reflect more deeply about your direction and your purpose. These moments do not appear by accident. They appear when your mind and your heart are ready to recognize something important about the path you are walking. Many people move through their days surrounded by noise, responsibilities, and distractions, rarely giving themselves the space to truly think about what their life is becoming. Yet when a moment of awareness arrives, it can gently encourage you to pause and look at your journey with greater clarity. Sometimes the truth about your life is not something that suddenly appears from outside sources. Instead, it develops slowly inside you through your experiences. Every conversation you have had, every decision you have made, and every challenge you have faced has quietly contributed to the person you are becoming. When you reflect on those experiences, you may begin to notice patterns that were not obvious before. These patterns reveal how much you have learned and how much stronger your understanding has become over time. Archangel Michael says there are times when people underestimate the value of their own journey. They compare themselves to others or believe that they have not achieved enough yet. But comparison often hides the unique progress each person is making. Your journey is not meant to look identical to anyone else's. The lessons you have learned, the skills you have developed, and the insights you have gained are all part of a path that belongs only to you. Recognizing this truth can bring a sense of peace because it allows you to focus on your own growth rather than measuring yourself against someone else's timeline. Think about the moments in your life when you discovered something new about yourself. Perhaps there was a time when you realized you were stronger than you believed. Perhaps you found the courage to face a challenge that once felt impossible. Those moments are powerful reminders that growth often happens during the situations that test us the most. When you look back at those experiences, you may realize that they were preparing you for the next stage of your life. Archangel Michael says awareness grows when people begin asking thoughtful questions about their lives. Instead of simply moving through routines, they start asking themselves what truly matters to them. They consider the kind of future they want to create and the actions that could help them move toward that future. These questions are not signs of uncertainty, they are signs of curiosity and growth. You may also notice that certain ideas continue appearing in your thoughts. Sometimes an idea returns again and again because it holds meaning for your future. It might be an idea about learning a new skill, exploring a new opportunity, or changing a habit that no longer supports your goals. When these thoughts appear repeatedly, they may be inviting you to explore something that could lead to positive progress. Archangel Michael says the truth about your situation may also involve recognizing the power of small consistent actions. Many people believe that transformation must happen in dramatic ways, but lasting progress often comes from simple choices repeated every day. When you decide to invest your time in learning, improving, and reflecting, those small actions begin to create momentum. Over time, that momentum can lead to meaningful changes that once seemed distant. Another important truth is that patience plays a key role in growth. It is easy to become discouraged when results do not appear immediately. Yet the most meaningful achievements usually require time and steady effort. Just as a seed grows gradually before it becomes a strong tree, your efforts today are quietly building the foundation for opportunities in the future. Archangel Michael says understanding your values is another step toward clarity. When you know what truly matters to you, it becomes easier to make decisions that align with your goals. Instead of feeling pulled in many directions, you begin to focus your energy on the actions that support your long-term vision. As you continue reflecting on your life, you may begin to see that every stage of your journey has contributed something valuable. Even the moments that once felt uncertain or difficult taught lessons that strengthened your resilience. Those lessons now serve as tools that help you navigate new challenges with greater confidence. Archangel Michael says your story is still unfolding, and the awareness you develop today can shape the direction of the chapters ahead. By remaining open to learning and reflecting on your experiences, you allow your understanding to continue growing. With that understanding comes the ability to move forward with greater purpose and clarity. Archangel Michael says as you continue listening to this message, it becomes important to understand that moments of awareness often appear when your life is preparing you for a deeper level of understanding. Many people believe that important realizations must arrive through dramatic events, but in truth they often begin quietly within your thoughts. A simple moment of reflection can slowly open your eyes to truths that have been forming in your life for a long time. When you give yourself the space to truly listen and think about your experiences, you may begin to see that every stage of your journey has been guiding you toward greater clarity. There are times when people move through life without noticing how much they have already grown. They focus on what they still want to achieve and forget to recognize the strength they have developed along the way. Yet if you pause for a moment and look back honestly at your journey, you will likely see how much you have learned. Challenges that once seemed overwhelming eventually became lessons that strengthened your patience and determination. Situations that once created uncertainty later revealed new paths that you might not have discovered otherwise. Archangel Michael says awareness often grows through the process of reflection. When you reflect on your experiences, you begin to understand not only what happened but also what those experiences taught you. Reflection allows you to recognize patterns in your life that help explain why certain events unfolded the way they did. With that understanding comes the ability to make wiser decisions about your future. Sometimes people spend too much time worrying about whether they have chosen the perfect path. They imagine that a single decision will determine the rest of their lives. In reality, life is shaped by many decisions made over time. Each step forward offers an opportunity to learn something new and adjust your direction if necessary. The truth about your situation may be that your path has never been fixed. It has always been evolving as you grow and learn. Archangel Michael says curiosity plays a powerful role in personal growth. When you remain curious about the world and about your own abilities, you open yourself to discovering new possibilities. Curiosity encourages you to explore ideas, develop skills, and ask questions that expand your understanding. Without curiosity, people often remain within familiar routines, even when those routines no longer help them grow. You may notice that certain thoughts about your future appear repeatedly. Perhaps you imagine learning something new, pursuing a different opportunity, or improving an area of your life that has remained unchanged for too long. These thoughts are important because they represent the beginning of potential change. When you pay attention to them and explore them with patience, they can guide you toward meaningful progress. Archangel Michael says it is also important to recognize that progress does not always move in a straight line. There may be moments when things feel slow or uncertain. During those times it can be tempting to believe that nothing is improving. Yet growth often happens quietly beneath the surface. Just as roots grow beneath the soil before a plant becomes visible above the ground, your efforts today may be preparing opportunities that will become clear later. Another truth about personal development is that everyone's journey moves at its own pace. Some people discover their direction early, while others take more time to understand what truly inspires them. There is no single timeline that defines success. What matters most is your willingness to continue learning and improving, regardless of how long the process takes. Archangel Michael says patience allows wisdom to develop. When you remain patient with yourself, you give your experiences the time they need to reveal their meaning. Instead of rushing toward results, you allow your understanding to grow step by step. This patience helps you make thoughtful choices that support long-term growth rather than short-term satisfaction. As you continue reflecting on your life, you may realize that many opportunities have already appeared along your path. Some may have been small and easy to overlook, while others may have required courage to pursue. The more aware you become of these opportunities, the more prepared you are to recognize new ones when they appear. Archangel Michael says the truth being revealed in your life may simply be that your journey has always been guiding you toward greater awareness. Every lesson you learned and every challenge you overcame contributed to the understanding you carry today. With that understanding comes the ability to shape your future with greater intention. Your story is still unfolding, and each moment offers another chance to move forward with clarity and purpose. By continuing to reflect on your experiences and remain open to learning, you allow new possibilities to appear naturally. The more you trust the process of growth, the more confident you will feel about the direction your life is taking. Feel more meaningful. Perhaps you are beginning to understand what truly matters to you and what kind of future you want to build. These realizations are important because they help you align your actions with your values. When your choices reflect what you genuinely care about, progress becomes more fulfilling and purposeful. Archangel Michael says awareness also helps you recognize opportunities that once seemed invisible. Many opportunities appear in simple forms. An idea that inspires you, a conversation that introduces a new perspective, or a moment of curiosity that encourages you to learn something new. When you remain open to these moments, they can gradually lead you toward paths you might never have discovered otherwise. Another truth about personal growth is that progress often begins with small consistent actions rather than dramatic changes. People sometimes wait for the perfect moment to begin improving their lives, but the perfect moment rarely arrives. Instead, progress begins when you decide to take one small step in a direction that feels meaningful. Over time, those steps build momentum, creating changes that once seemed impossible. Archangel Michael says patience is an essential companion to growth. In a world that moves quickly, people often expect immediate results from their efforts. But meaningful achievements take time to develop. Just as a tree grows slowly before it becomes strong and stable, your own development follows a gradual process. When you remain patient, you allow your efforts to mature into lasting progress. You may also discover that the truth about your situation includes recognizing your own potential. Sometimes people limit themselves because they doubt whether they are capable of achieving their goals. Yet the abilities you carry today are not fixed. Skills can be learned, knowledge can be expanded, and confidence can grow through experience. When you believe in your capacity to develop, you open the door to opportunities that once seemed beyond reach. Archangel Michael says another important aspect of awareness is understanding the value of your time and attention. The choices you make about how you spend your time gradually shape the direction of your life. When you invest your attention in learning, reflection, and positive action, you strengthen your ability to create the future you want. As you continue moving forward, remember that every stage of your journey carries meaning. Even moments that once felt confusing may eventually reveal the lessons they were meant to teach. By remaining open to reflection and growth, you allow your understanding to expand with each new experience. Archangel Michael says your story is still unfolding, and the awareness you develop today will influence the chapters that come next. When you approach life with curiosity, patience, and determination, you create space for new opportunities to appear. The truth about your situation may simply be that you are entering a season of greater clarity, where the lessons of the past begin guiding you toward a more purposeful future. If this message resonates with you, comment, "I choose clarity and growth." Like this video if you believe reflection can guide your journey forward, and subscribe for more messages that inspire wisdom, awareness, and personal progress.